welcome everyone to the Plano Lodge, Elks Lodge, number 2485 Flag Day ceremony. Would everyone please stand and unite in singing the Star Spangled Banner? Sally, would you start us off?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Members and guests, the purpose of this service is to honor our country's flag, to celebrate the anniversary of its birth, and to recall the achievements attained beneath its folds. It is quite appropriate that such a service should be held by the Order of Elks, an organization that is distinctly American, intensely patriotic, and without counterpart. Esteemed Leading Night. What are the fraternal aims of the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks?
To inculcate the principles of charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity, to promote the welfare and happiness of mankind, to uphold our country and its laws, and to quicken the spirit of American patriotism.
Esteemed Leading Night. Loyal Night. No. Esteemed Leading Night. What is the significance of the flag, American flag?
It is emblematic of the crowning virtue, charity.
Esteemed Loyal Night. What is the significance of the American flag?
It is emblematic of justice for all.
Esteemed Lecturing Night. What is the significance of the American flag?
It is a symbol of brotherly love.
Lodge Esquire. What is the significance of the flag from the station of the exalted ruler?
It is the symbol of fidelity.
Charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity are the cardinal principles of our order, and they exemplify in all of our services. By them we teach love of country and of our countryman, and loyalty to our American way of life. To be an elk is to be an American citizen who lives for their country and is ready to die for it. Please stand. The chaplain will lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Almighty God, in this hour of patriotic observance of the birthday of the American flag, we ask you to bless our flag and the people of these United States for all that our flag represents. Both at home and abroad, we thank you. And though through all our history as a nation, it has been an incident of freedom, liberty, and opportunity. And though the years to come may this flag wave in the banner of liberty, freedom, and enlightenment, may this service bring to each of us a sense of loyalty to our country and enable us to be better patriots, truer citizens, and more loyal Americans to the glory and the honor of this great nation. Amen.
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 Please be seated. That we may better understand the meaning of our flag, I will give you the history of the flag. Harold E. is as old as the human race. the carrying of banners has been a custom among all peoples at all ages. These banners usually contain some concept of the life or government of those who fashion them. The evolution of the American flag marks the progressive of the government of the American people. From the founding of Jamestown, Virginia in 1607 until 1775, the flag of England was the flag of the peoples of America. In 1775, the pine tree flag was adopted for all colonial vessels. And this was the banner carried by the Continental forces in the Battle of Bunker Hill. The southern colonies from 1776 to 1777 used the snake flag. In the latter part of 1775, the Continental Congress appointed a committee to consider the question of a single flag for the 13 colonies. That committee recommended a design of 13 alternate stripes of red and white, with an azure field in the upper corner bearing the red cross of St. George and the white cross of St. Andrew. John Paul Jones, the senior lieutenant of the flagship Alfred, hosted this flag to the masthead on December 3rd, 1775, and 1 month later it was raised over the headquarters of General Washington at Cambridge, Massachusetts, in compliment, as he wrote, to the United Colonies. This flag, called the Continental Colors and the Grand Union, was never carried in the field by the Continental Land Forces, but it was used by the Navy as its exclusive ensign and was the first American flag to receive a salute of honor, a salute of 11 guns from the Fort of Orange in the Dutch West Indies. In response to a general demand for a banner more representative of our country, the Congress on June 14, 1777 provided that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes of alternate red and white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white on a blue field, representing a new constellation. Right? Yeah. It is generally believed that in May or June of 1776, a committee consisting of George Washington, Robert Morris, and George Ross commissioned Betsy Ross, a Philadelphian Quakerette, to make a flag from a rough design they left for her. It is said that she suggested that the flags should have 5 points rather than 6. This starry banner was first flown at Fort Stanwix, called Fort Schuyler at that time, near the city of Rome, New York, on August 3rd, 1777, and was under fire 3 days later at the Battle of Oriskany, August 6, 1777, during a British and Indian attack. The first official salute to the Stars and Stripes was given on February 14, 1778 by France on the French coast, when the Ranger, under command of John Paul Jones, was saluted by the French fleet. This flag, then carried by the Ranger, was made by the young women of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, from stripes of their best colored silk dresses and the white wedding gown of a recent bride. It is said that this same Ranger's flag was flown by Jones' ship, the Bonhomme Richard, in its thrilling fight by moonlight upon the high seas with the British frigate Serapis. When the Serapis struck her colors, the immortal fame of John Paul Jones was ensured as the interpreter defender of the useful republic. The original 13 stars and stripes represented the original 13 colonies. In 1795, 2 additional stars and stripes were added to represent admission to the Union of Vermont and Kentucky. Under the banner of 15 stars and stripes was fought the War of 1812. It was the sight of it flying over Fort McHenry on September 14, 1814, that inspired Francis Scott Key to write what was to become our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Miss Margaret Young, who cut the stars for that particular banner, was the mother of Henry Sanderson, the Grand Exalted Ruler of the Order of Elks in 1884. The Congress on April 14, 1818, adopted a resolution that on and after July 4th, 1818, the number of stripes should be 13 and that the blue field should carry 1 star for each of the 20 states in the Union and that a new star should be added for each state thereafter admitted. Since 1818, there have been no changes in the flag design except that 28 new stars were added before July 4th, 1912. And this flag of 48 stars flew over the nation for 47 years until just before the Vietnam War. On July 4th, 1959, a star was added for Alaska, our first non-connected state, and a year later, Hawaii, our inland state, added a 50th star. Our present flag, 50 stars and 13 stripes, is accompanied by the POW MIA flag to recognize the light and demise of a special group of our armed services. Those who were prisoners of war still remain missing in action. Our flags have been presented by Evan Kivarak, son of Dina and Mark. Please stand and salute our flag. As this emblem is first in our hearts as loyal Americans, so it is close to our altar as loyal Elks. The gentle breezes with lingering caress kiss the folds of no flag which can compare with it in beauty. There is no such red in budding rose, in falling leaf, or sparkling wine. No such white in April blossom, in crescent moon, or mountain snow. No such blue in woman's eye, in ocean's depth, or heaven's dome. And no such pageantry of clustering stars in steaming light in all the spectrum of the sea and sky. Please be seated. Our flag is at once a history, a declaration, and a prophecy. It represents the American nation as its war at its birth. It speaks for what it is today, and it holds the opportunity for the future to add other stars to the glorious constellation. The Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks is the first and only fraternal body to require formal observance of Flag Day. In July of 1908, the Grand Lodge of this order at Dallas, Texas, then Assembly, provided for the annual nationwide observance of Flag Day on the 14th of June in each year by making it mandatory upon each subordinate lodge of the order. This unique distinction, as the strongest promoter of Flag Day, is most becoming to the Order of Elks. This order is distinctly American. Only American citizens are eligible to join it, and it has no foreign affiliations. It has linked its destiny with the destiny of our country and made this flag as its symbol of self-dedication to God, to country, and to fellow man. Please stand and join in singing God Bless America. Sally. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, our home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Please be seated. And now Carol Alexander is going to come up and give us the response.
Thank you, Exalted Ruler. The Stars and Stripes, flag of the United States of America, the worldwide hope of all who, under God, would be free to live and do His will. Upon its folds is written the story of America, the epic of the mightiest and noblest in all history. In the days when the people of the old world groveled in abject homage to the heresy of the divine right of kings, a new constellation appeared on the western skies, the Stars and Stripes, symbolizing the divine right of all to life, liberty, happiness, and peace under the endowment of their Creator. To what man or woman is given words adequate to tell the story of the building of this great nation? That immortal story is written in blood and sweat, in heroic deeds and unremitting toil, in the clearing of primeval forests, in the planting of vast prairies where once the coyote and the buffalo roamed. Onward swept the nation, spanning wide rivers, leaping vast mountain ranges, leaving in its path villages and farms, factories and cities, till at last this great nation stood astride the continent, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This is the heritage of the people of the United States. It has been repurchased by each succeeding generation and must be re-won again and again and again until the end of time, lest it too shall pass like the ancient empires of Greece and Rome. The price of liberty is eternal vigilance. What was won at Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill had to be repurchased at Ticonderoga in Yorktown. What John Paul Jones achieved upon the high seas in the War of Independence had to be repurchased by Commodore Perry on Lake Erie in the War of 1812. The prestige of Admiral Dewey's victory at Manila Bay in 1898 was re-won by the naval battles in the seas about the far distant islands of the Pacific after a sneak attack upon Pearl Harbor in Manila in 1941 had summoned our country to assume its role in World War II. What our troops achieved under the Stars and Stripes at Chateau Treyer in Flanders in World War I, their sons were required to repurchase in World War II in the bloody trek across North Africa, on the beachheads of Europe, and in the Battle of the Bulge. The flag our American men raised at Iwo Jima was the same flag later raised in defense of Incheon, Busan, and Pork Chop Hill in far-off Korea. Then another generation under that same flag bled to stem the threat of communism in far-off Vietnam. Our young people were again called to carry our flag in the defense of the free world in the actions in Grenada and Panama. Willingly, our brave men and women carried our flag in honor of the American people into battle in Operation Desert Storm. And who among us will ever forget the sight of the firefighters raising our flag over the ruins of the World Trade Center? The military personnel draping our flag on the side of the Pentagon, and the citizens of Somerset County, Pennsylvania, placing our flag near the site where brave Americans died fighting the hijackers of Flight 93. No other symbol could have offered such comfort, as we still today endure the horrors of that day. Today, the American Armed Forces carry our flags in the villages of Iraq, in the mountains of Afghanistan, and in the jungles of the Philippines, and wherever terrorism may reside. Their struggle against the sponsors of terrorism is the hardest battle yet. And this threat to our nation and to our way of life is certainly as great a challenge as our flag has ever seen. The resurgence of patriotism since September 11, 2001 has rekindled respect for our flag. Today we see the Star-Spangled Banner wherever we turn, on homes, businesses, automobiles, billboards. Such displays stimulate our love for our nation and for what it stands. They remind us of the sacrifices being made by the men and women of our armed forces around the world. And they are a tribute to the heroes of the police and fire departments the nation over. The greatest sacrifice of this flag, however, lies in the influence that it has on the hearts and minds of millions of people. It has waved over the unparalleled progress of a nation in developing democratic institutions, scientific and technological education, and culture. It has served as a beacon for millions of poor and oppressed refugees abroad, and stands as a promise that the underprivileged will not be forgotten. What is the meaning of the flag of the United States? There can never be a definitive answer to this question. There are people in this world who see it as a symbol of imperialism, others who see it as the destiny of the people. But reference to these and similar views of the flag was resolved by Woodrow Wilson when he said, "This flag, which we honor and under which we serve, is the emblem of our unity, our power, our thought, and the shape of this nation. It has no other character than that which it gives from generation to generation. The choice is ours." Only love, true love of our fellow man, can create peace. The emblem and token of that love are those stars and stripes, a symbol of the American way of life. Our Father, God, to Thee, author of liberty, to Thee we sing. Long may our land be bright with freedom's holy light. protect us by thy might. Great God, our King. I have one more article here I'd like to do. As I hold up this flag, it says, I am Old Glory. For more than 240 years, I have been the banner of hope and freedom for generation after generation of Americans born amid the first flames of America's fight for freedom. I am the symbol of the country that has grown from a little group of 13 colonies to a united nation of 50 sovereign states. Planted firmly on the high pinnacle of American faith, my gently fluttering foals have proved an inspiration to untold millions. Men have followed me into battle with unwavering courage. They have looked upon me as a symbol of a nation of unity. They have prayed that they and their fellow citizens might continue to enjoy the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness which have been granted to every American as the heritage of free men. So long as men love liberty more than life itself, so long as they treasure the priceless privilege brought with the blood of our forefathers, so long as the principles of truth, justice, and charity for all remain deeply rooted in American hearts, I shall continue to be the enduring banner of the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Lodge Squire. How shall we further honor our flag?
The flag is formally honored by the Pledge of Allegiance. This pledge was written in 1892 by Francis Bellamy and was published in the Youth's Companion as part of a patriotic campaign of that magazine. The pledge was not part of the flag code until 1942, and in 1954 the words "Under God" were added.
Let us all stand and pledge ourselves never to forget the principles represented by this flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. In conclusion of this observation of Flag Day, let us rededicate ourselves to the flag of the United States of America, and may the principles of charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity ever increase in each of us. I now declare this service closed.